In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the causes of patellar tendonitis, the one primary cause, the 8 contributing factors, and how you can fix them all at once with one simple routine. What's up, everybody? Nathanael Morton here with NathanaelMorton.com, helping you get bigger, stronger, faster, and more explosive. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you about the causes of patellar tendonitis, and I'm going to give you one simple and effective routine that you can use to fix all of these causes and all of these contributing factors at the same exact time. Okay, I'm going to teach you about the primary cause of patellar tendonitis. I'll teach you about the 8 contributing factors. And then at the end of the video, I will give you that routine that you can take to the gym with you or to your living room so that you can do it for yourself and fix all of these causes and fix your patellar tendonitis. Okay, but before I do that, as always in every video, I wanted to remind you that if you comment JUMP, J-U-M-P, down below in the comment section and you like this video, I will send you a free bodyweight vertical jump training program that you can use to get more explosive and increase your vertical jump. Also, I will give you a free weight training vertical jump program if you go to my Instagram, follow me, and tag 3 people on any one of my posts. And if you want both of those programs, just do both of those things. But okay, let's get into the video. What are the causes of patellar tendonitis and how do we fix them all with one simple routine? So if we take a look over here, these are common activities, common sports and activities that contribute to patellar tendonitis, okay? These activities are what people do, and then after doing these for a while, they find that they have knee pain, they have patellar tendonitis, they have jumper's knee, or even quadriceptical tendonitis. Okay, we have basketball and volleyball. Those are the 2 most common sports that patellar tendonitis is associated with. Then we have running, jumping. It can happen for squatting. These are the main ones right here, and then sometimes it'll even happen for soccer players, people who dance a lot, football players, tennis players, and gymnasts. Okay, so those are the main activities that people do and then eventually see patellar tendonitis creep up in their knees. Okay, but even though all of these activities are the most common sports and activities that lead to patellar tendonitis, there's actually only one primary cause of patellar tendonitis, and that is overload of the patellar tendon. You get patellar tendonitis from overload of the patellar tendon. Doing too much activity without resting enough eventually leads you down and down and down until you have patellar tendonitis. If you allow yourself to rest, you would go up and up and up, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, so for example, let's say we are playing basketball. Let's say we're playing basketball and we usually play 4 times a week for about an hour, okay? And then on one day you have a showcase or you have a tournament and you have a bunch of basketball games on one day. It's a Saturday, okay? And then what you do is you beat your knees up more than they are used to. So you're beating up the patellar tendon all Saturday through that tournament. Then, because athletes are naturally very dedicated to their craft, on Sunday, you rest, but then on Monday, you go and you do a leg workout. And then you have basketball practice after school. Your muscles in your legs, your patellar tendon has not recovered enough from that Saturday showcase, that Saturday tournament. And by the time you get to Monday and you lift legs in the morning or you play basketball again, you are essentially overtraining and you are beating your patellar tendon up again before it has had time to fully recover. Okay? And then let's say that on Wednesday or on Tuesday, you have practice again, then on Wednesday, and eventually you are beating your patellar tendon up without giving it enough time to recover, and it goes down and down and down, and you eventually get patellar tendonitis. Training too often without giving the patellar tendon enough time to recover will eventually lead to patellar tendonitis. I'll say it again. Training too often without giving your patellar tendons enough time to rest and recover will eventually lead to patellar tendonitis and jumper's knee. Another thing that can lead to patellar tendonitis and jumper's knee, which is also the primary cause, overload of the tendon, is going too heavy or doing too much. Okay, so there's two ways. Number one, we just talked about, it's too often without rest and recovery. The other way, the second way, is too much load on the patellar tendon. So there's too often of a load and then too much load. This is like if you're used to squatting 135 on the bar, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel like I can go for 185, and you do 185. Or if you all of a sudden start doing vertical jump training, or you start doing a different workout that is explosive, okay? So these two things, the primary cause, overload of the patellar tendon, either training too often without rest and recovery or doing too much load, too intense of a load on your patellar tendon can lead to patellar tendonitis, will eventually lead to patellar tendonitis and jumper's knee if you continue down that road, okay? So that's the primary cause of patellar tendonitis. The way that you stop that, other than the routine that I'm going to give you, the best way to stop that is to stop doing the things that overload your patellar tendon. So if it's basketball all the time, then you should stop doing basketball all the time, because that overloads your patellar tendons and they can't handle that load. If it's squatting too heavy, you should stop squatting too heavy. And listen, I've already made a video on how to continue training through patellar tendonitis, how to fix your patellar tendonitis without stopping your sports or your training or any of your activities. So if you're interested in that video, I will link it down below for you. But for this video, the best way to stop your patellar tendonitis is to stop doing the activities that overload your tendons. And that's much easier said than done, because as athletes, as people who are competitive and want to grow and get better, it's very hard to stop our training because we feel like we're going to go backwards, okay? So the best way to get rid of, number one, the primary cause, is to stop doing what causes your patellar tendonitis in the first place. Another question that I get a lot is, well, then should I just rest? If you're telling me that the primary cause of patellar tendonitis is overload of the patellar tendon, and the best way to get rid of that overload is to remove that activity in general, whether it be basketball or volleyball or squats or running or whatever, should I just stop that and then rest so that my knees feel better? The answer is no. You should not just rest, because just by doing rest, after you rest for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, when you go back to do your running or your squatting or your jumping or your basketball or your volleyball, your patellar tendonitis, your jumper's knee is just going to come back. So rest really doesn't do you much good, because when you go back into your activity, the patellar tendonitis is just going to come back. So if you are going to rest for about a week and then jump into the routine that I'm going to give you. So I'm not saying to do nothing. I am saying that the primary cause is overload of the tendon. You should first remove that, and then I'm going to say don't rest, but do the routine that I'm going to give you that dives into all 8 of these contributing factors and fixes all 8 of these factors. And speaking of, let's just dive into it right now. The 8 contributing factors to patellar tendonitis. Number 1, low ankle dorsiflexion. If you have low ankle dorsiflexion, if your ankles are very tight and you cannot put your knee past your toes very far when you're doing squats or anything else, then that is going to contribute to your patellar tendonitis, especially in basketball players. So if we take care of that one through dorsiflexion drills, and we stretch our Achilles and we practice getting more flexible and more mobile in that area of our ankles and work on that dorsiflexion, then we can eliminate that contributing factor. Okay. The second one is tight calves. Okay, and we'll go through all these at once: tight calves, tight quads, and tight hamstrings. We'll do all 3 of those at once. Tight muscles in general put excess stress on your patellar tendon and makes them work harder than they have to. It also pulls on the tendon, which makes it hurt and causes you knee pain. So if you have tight calves, your calves run along the back of your knee. Your patellar tendon is always going to have to be working against additional resistance because of the pulling along the back of your leg. Same thing with your hamstrings. That runs right past your knee on the back side of your knee. It's going to cause your patellar tendon to go against additional resistance because of the tightness in your hamstrings. And then tight quads, if your quads are tight, it's going to directly pull straight on your patellar tendon, causing that pain and causing the patellar tendonitis over time. So one thing that you can do for these three is to stretch and get more flexible in those areas, and to massage or do foam rolling, okay, self-myofascial release, okay. So those three are also in the routine that I'm going to give you at the end. We take care of those three as well. Moving on, we have weak glutes. This one is very common, especially in athletes, because athletes are notorious for neglecting their glutes. Okay, so what we're going to do for that one, weak glutes has to do with your thighs. If you have weak glutes, then you have no control over your thighs, and your thighs can rotate inwards without you being able to control them, which can cave your knees in and throw your knees off track. So your knee is like a track. It's like a railroad track. It goes up and down. If your knees are caving in due to your weak glutes and your inability to take care of your thighs and control your thighs, then your knees are going to run off track and cause all kinds of problems. So we have things in the routine for weak glutes as well. Low hip mobility is very similar to weak glutes. With low hip mobility, you can't really control your quads and your thighs. Your knees can easily cave inward, and that can cause your knees to run off track. So by eliminating your low hip mobility, by gaining more mobility in your hips, you can easily get rid of that contributing factor and fix that one, okay? These last two, wrong foot alignment and wrong jumping technique, these are not in the routine that I'm going to give you at the end of this video. The routine at the end of the video will not help you with these last two, but I want you to be aware of the last two so that you can work on them by yourself. Okay, wrong foot alignment, especially for athletes when they are doing athletic movements like playing defense in basketball, or side shuffling, or squatting. Your foot alignment should be straight on like this when you're doing athletic movements, okay? If you're doing a side shuffle or playing defense, you might turn the foot out here and there, but your feet shouldn't be way out here like this when you're doing a side shuffle, okay? And also for squatting, your feet should just slightly be pointed outwards, okay? They shouldn't be way out here when you're doing a squat, unless you're focusing on like sumo squats. Don't point them way out here, just slightly turned out, okay? Turning your feet out during athletic movements like a side shuffle or playing defense in basketball. What this does is causes your ankle joint to collapse, and it causes stress further up on the patellar tendon. Okay, so that one there, just make sure when you do athletic movements, don't turn your feet all the way out, okay? And definitely don't turn your feet all the way in, okay? And the last one is wrong jumping technique, and wrong landing technique. They go hand in hand. Wrong jumping technique. For jumping technique, a lot of 2-foot jumpers especially use primarily their quads to jump. Okay, if you are a 2-foot jumper, chances are you are quad dominant and your glutes and your hamstrings are weak, which we can go through with the weak glutes. We have that in the routine. And then you can also do some hamstring exercises like Nordic curls, or like hamstring curls, or like straight leg deadlifts, or one leg RDLs to fix your weak hamstrings, so that when you jump, you're not really always using your quads, because that can cause patellar tendonitis by itself, okay? So the main thing there is increase the strength of your glutes and your hamstrings, and you won't have to worry about that when you're jumping. When you're landing, a lot of people land improperly and they let their knees cave in. Okay, if you're letting your knees cave in, you are going to have problems. It's just easy as that. If you are not hinging at the hip, you are also going to have problems. So what I mean by hinging at the hip, I mean hinging this way when you jump. Okay, so you do want to slightly bend your knees, never land with straight legs. You want to bend your knees, but people who have patellar tendonitis, and they get patellar tendonitis from wrong jumping and landing technique, they land, but then they never hinge at the hip. They just go straight down like this, okay? You should land, bend your knees, and hinge at the hip like this, okay? So knees bent and hinging at the hip like that for proper jumping technique, okay? So these are the 8 contributing factors. That's the primary cause, overload of the patellar tendon, and you get it through all this. Basketball will overload your tendon, volleyball, running, jumping, squats, soccer, dance. All this stuff can overload your tendon, okay? This actually isn't the problem. You can still do this stuff if your tendon is not getting overloaded. And the best way to do it is to scale back your activity, or completely remove it and go through this first. But the way that you get back into your sports, because you're not going to just stop playing basketball forever. You're not just going to stop squatting forever, stop playing volleyball forever. The best way to get back into it is to get back into it very, very slowly. Progressive overload, very slowly back into what you were doing. So instead of doing basketball 4 times a week for an hour, do basketball 3 times a week for 20 minutes, okay? And if that still hurts your knees, you need to scale it back even more. But let's say that's fine. Let's say 3 sessions a week of basketball for 20 minutes is fine, and you don't get any knee pain from that. And you're doing the routine that helps all of these 8 contributing factors, and your pain is going away. What you need to do is slowly progressive overload. The next time you go into the gym, do 25 minutes of basketball. Okay, then 2 weeks after that, do 30 minutes of basketball. Then 2 weeks after that, do 35 minutes, all the way till you get to an hour. Okay, then maybe add in a 4th day of basketball for 20 minutes and just progressive overload slowly. If you progressive overload too quickly, if you throw too much weight on the bar, if you start going too hard, if you go run 10 miles, most likely it's going to be too much load on your patellar tendon, and you are going to get overloaded, and your tendonitis is going to creep back in slowly, okay? So the main key here is to progressive overload very slowly. That's how you get back into your sport, okay? But let's go through this routine that goes through all of these factors and will help us fix our patellar tendonitis and continue playing our sport. The equipment that you're going to need is an exercise bike, a foam roller, you're going to need a mini band, and a slant board, okay? Exercise bike, a foam roller, a mini band, and a slant board, okay? And I will link everything down below for you in the description. If you don't want to use an exercise bike, just do a warm up. The exercise bike is only to warm yourself up. So if you don't want to buy all of this stuff, for your exercise bike, you could just do bicycles or do a different dynamic warm-up. For a foam roller, you can use self-massage with a rolling pin with your thumbs. You can get your girlfriend or boyfriend to massage your legs, but I recommend just getting a foam roller. The mini band, you're pretty much going to need the mini band. You can do glute exercises like leg lifts and other things. I have a video linked down below that is how to cure patellar tendonitis with no equipment. You could try that routine, but I highly, highly recommend getting a mini band because it's going to be your fastest way to recovery. And then you're going to need a slant board. Slant board slow eccentric squats are by far the #1 exercise in the entire world to cure your patellar tendonitis. So I highly recommend that you get a slant board, or at least go to an LA Fitness and prop a platform up slanted. Have somebody build yourself one out of wood, or tuck some 2.5 pound weights under your heels. But make sure your heels are elevated and you are on a slanted board somehow. Okay, so that's the equipment that you're going to need. The routine, let's get into the routine. You're going to do an exercise bike for 10 minutes. 10 minutes on the exercise bike to warm up your knees, warm up your muscles, warm up your tendons. Once you're done with that, you're going to foam roll for 5 minutes, okay? And you're going to foam roll your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, your IT band, basically foam roll your entire leg. Okay, foam roll both of your legs, your entire legs. And also, if you only have one bad knee, make sure that you do everything for both knees so that we don't create any more imbalances. Okay, so after we bike, after we foam roll, then what you're going to do is you're going to do 4 stretches. The couch stretch, the hamstring stretch, the quad stretch, and the calf stretch, okay? So you're going to do 60 seconds of these 4 stretches. Then what you're going to do is what is called a 90-90 hip swivel. So you're going to swivel your hips back and forth 10 repetitions each time, okay? 10 repetitions one way, 10 repetitions another way. After your 10th repetition going to the left side, you're going to do a 90-90 stretch in which you are stretching your glutes, your glute medius. Do your 90-90 stretch for 30 seconds, then switch to the other side, 90-90 stretch on that side for 30 seconds, then switch back. You're in the 90-90 stretch, you're going to do 10 leg lifts, challenging external rotation of the hip. Okay, 10 leg lifts. Then you switch, you do 10 leg lifts on the other side. Then what you are going to do are called calf pumps. Okay, you're going to get into, I think in yoga it's called the downward dog. You don't have to emphasize it that much, but just get up on your hands and your feet. And you're going to do 10 calf pumps for each calf. Okay, we're just loosening up the calves, getting ready to stretch. Then what you do is a 30-second calf stretch on each leg. After you do your 30-second calf stretch, you step through with one leg and you're going to do your dorsiflexion drill. Remember, this is where we're working on all of these contributing factors. We're working on our tight calves, our tight quads, our tight hamstrings through the stretches. We're about to do our weak glutes. We're working on our hip mobility, and we're about to do our low ankle dorsiflexion. We're about to work on that. So after you do the calf pumps and the calf stretch, you're going to step through, and you're going to do a dorsiflexion drill, doing 10 repetitions, moving your knee past your toe without allowing your heel to come up off the ground. Move your knee past your toe, improving your dorsiflexion, improving your ankle flexibility, moving your knee past your toe. Okay, 10 repetitions one side. Then once you're done with the 10th repetition, do a 10 to 30 second stretch for your Achilles, 10 to 30 second stretch, and then switch legs and do it all over again. 10 repetitions of the dorsiflexion drill, and then a 10 to 30 second stretch on that Achilles, okay? Once you are done with that one, you're going to do your glute medius exercises. You're going to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions with glute bridges with a hip abduction at the top. So glute bridges, 3 sets of 10 reps with a hip abduction at the top using a mini band. What I would do if I was you, I would get a pack of mini bands. I have them linked down below. They come in a yellow one, a green one, a blue one, and a black one. The yellow one is the lightest resistance, and the black one is the hardest resistance. For 2 weeks, I would use the yellow. Then as I feel better, I would move to the green. Then I would progressive overload to the blue. And then finally, I would use the black, which is pretty hard. Okay, so 3 sets of 10 reps for the glute bridges with the hip abduction at the top. Then you're going to move on your side, still using the mini band. You're going to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions of clams on each side. Okay, 3 sets of 10 glute bridges and then 3 sets of 10 clams. And what this is going to do is knock out our weak glutes, and they're going to strengthen our glutes so that our knees don't cave in, so that we have full control over our thighs and our quads. Okay. Next, we're going to do what are called TKEs, terminal knee extensions. And by the way, I have this full routine linked down below in the description. You can click that video. It will take you to a full walkthrough. You can follow along with me as I go through this entire routine. Okay, so don't worry if you're not getting everything here. Just click that video and watch it and follow along with me as you do it when I do it. Okay, so TKEs, terminal knee extensions. You can use your mini band. You can use a normal resistance band. It's usually better, but you can also use your mini band for this. Hook your mini band around a squat rack, a railing. Just anchor it to something. Put it around the back of your knee. What you're going to do is put your toes together, let one knee go out, and then you're going to flex it back in line with your other leg. So let it relax and let it go out, then flex it back to the other leg. Okay, and you're going to do this 3 sets of 10 repetitions for each leg. Okay, everything is 3 sets of 10 at first. The last thing of the routine, well, there's 2 more parts, but one of the last exercises, the last exercise is eccentric squats on a slanted board. This is by far the #1 exercise that you need to be doing to heal your patellar tendonitis. When your heels are elevated, and you are on a slanted board, that directly places all of the focus, all of the load on your patellar tendon. So only use body weight because all of the load is going to be on your patellar tendon. What you are going to do is 3 sets of 10 repetitions of the eccentric squats, going down slow, 3 to 5 seconds on the way down, and you can either help yourself back up using a broomstick or a railing or a squat rack or anything that's in front of you, or if your knees aren't that bad and you can get up by yourself, then do 3 to 5 seconds on the concentric portion on the way back up. So 3 to 5 seconds down and then 3 to 5 seconds back up. Okay, so those are the eccentric squats, by far the best exercise for you to cure your patellar tendonitis. Okay, and after you do that, you do the 4 stretches again, 60 seconds each. You do the couch stretch, you do the hamstring stretch, you do the quad stretch, and you do the calf stretch. And to be completely honest with you guys, I don't do the calf stretch because I increase the flexibility with my calves when I'm doing the calf pumps and the calf stretch in the downward dog position. So if you want to do it, it's going to be even better, but I can't say that I always do it because I skip that last part. Okay, so that is the routine that I have for you. That is the exercise bike, the foam rolling, the stretching, the mobility work, the glute medius work, the TKEs, the eccentric squats, and then the stretching at the end. That is going to cover all of these, every single factor, besides weak hamstrings. If you have wrong jumping technique and you're a 2-foot jumper, you're going to want to do extra work on your hamstrings. But other than that, this routine will take care of all of these contributing factors, helping you to fix your patellar tendonitis and get rid of the causes of patellar tendonitis. Remember, if you take anything away from this video, the primary cause is overload of the tendon, and the 8 contributing factors, or you can even call them causes, are these right here: low ankle dorsiflexion, tight calves, tight quads, tight hamstrings, weak glutes, low hip mobility, wrong foot alignment, and wrong jumping technique. If you eliminate all of these, then you don't have patellar tendonitis. If you strengthen your glutes and you stretch and you no longer have tight muscles and tight hips, and you eliminate all of these factors, you literally can't have patellar tendonitis anymore. It just doesn't work that way. It's the laws of nature. It's the laws of the human body. You cannot have patellar tendonitis if you get rid of all these things. Okay? So guys, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I have for you today. Remember, if you comment jump down below and you like this video, I'll send you a free bodyweight vertical jump training program. If you follow me on Instagram and tag 3 people on any of my posts, I will give you a free weight training vertical jump program. Other than that, like this video if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell if you have not already. And ladies and gentlemen, take action, because action is everything. Knowledge is not power. It is only potential power until you take action on what you know. Now that you know all of this, you still won't get any results until you take action on it. Take it to the gym with you or to your living room and buy all this equipment, get all this equipment, or create your own slant board and do your own bicycles and have your girlfriend massage you. But whatever you do, take action, eliminate all of these factors and causes of patellar tendonitis, and you will be pain-free and back into your sport before you know it. I'll see you guys in the next video.